just with a 6B pencil or a 4B pencil, you can draw on this to get your image. And I got it from this little saint sculpture that's from New Mexico. It's Saint Michael, and he's killing the dragon, which looks a little bit like Donald Trump. So you can draw on this, you can erase back into it, you can make a lot of changes before you decide to print it, but you know, you're going to end up just kind of with a line drawing, and what you do is you cut around the outside of the line. You leave the black line and you cut out the white. That's the easiest way to explain it. And this is kind of the tool that you have that's going to have a bunch of blades inside of it. And the way that you put the blades in, there's like this little mandible in here. You can hear that shaking. The blade goes right into this, into the loose part between the metal. You'll see how it fits in there. Just be careful, it's really sharp as you put it in. It's great if you have two of these, because then you can put a broader cut and a light cut, and I don't have that. What I have is some gauges that are some gouges that are Miller's Fall gouges that you can get at any supply. This is a really cheap set of Japanese cutting tools that, you know, you can see they have different kinds of widths. And you can sharpen these things with a sharpening stone. But what happens is when you cut, this is a little hard to see and it's a little fine cutting, but what you get is something like this. I'm just going to cut into this block because I'm going to make some changes later. This is a wide gouge, and all it's going to do is like release light. You don't have to go very deep. You can see I'm cutting this really, really shallow. You don't want to sink it in like this. You're not carving out a whole lot, and even fine lines are going to print. Just these little gouge marks right here, and I could put a few more in. These are going to show up. You can cross hatch them, you know, meaning you can go back across like this. It's not unlike what you were doing with the pen and ink. So these are the different kinds of gouge marks that you can get. This is kind of a medium thick one, and it just lifts. It's like you're carving light. In a blackened block, once you print it the first time, it's a really cool thing to cut into. This is like a knife kind of an edge, and they're not that easy to work with. You have one in your kit. They're really better for like carving letters or something. Here's the one thing you need to know if you're carving letters. Everything will be backwards, so you'd have to draw your letters backwards on here, and you can check it by holding it up to a mirror. It'll appear right, but if you don't do that, then your letters all come up backwards. Anyway, you put in that little sharp gauge knife blade. That's called a veiner. It's really tiny, and that makes little tiny marks. It's perfect for working around lines or working up lines or multiple lines. You can get it really complex, crosshatch. So you get great stuff. And this is a block I'm probably going to cut into in a bit. But I have been cutting this, and you can kind of see how bold those cuts are. It's really like you're carving light. And it's exciting. You can work it up gradually. This seems to me to need to be developed. But I'll print it, I'll proof it, that's what it's called, to see the first time. And what you're going to do is you're going to put some ink on this slab. Get a slab, like a piece of wood or a piece of cardboard, and I'm going to show you that later. You want to get it so that it looks like an orange skin, and then what you're going to do, you're going to put this stuff all over here, a nice even coat, not too thick. You don't want your lines to fill in. That's why when it looks like an orange skin, it's perfect. You need to spread it out a little bit. And then you're just going to put a piece of paper over the top of it, and you're going to get a spoon, a wooden spoon, and you're going to just rub it. You can see this stuff is kind of transparent to begin with, this paper that I've got. I'll see what I'm getting while I'm printing it. And I'm just using a lightweight bond paper. Your Bristol board isn't going to be terrific. It's too stiff. You can probably get it to work, but something that's got a little bit of give in it, just bond drawing paper. You know, this is a small print. So even a sketchbook page, this is a sketchbook page, this will work really, really well on here because it's soft. So what you're going to do is you're going to put that on top there. And I don't see my spoon. Oh, here it is. Once it's inked, You're just going to go like this and rub it. So anything that's absorbent, you know, you can kind of see that there's a couple different kinds of white here. And I like this cool white with the black on it. I think it looks really, really good. I only have oil-based block ink, so you guys are going to get water-based. And you can get it in a little tube like this. That'll give you at least a dozen prints. You know, it goes a long, long way, and I'll show you a little bit how to clean up too. But that way you can make multiple prints, give them to friends. You can even get fabric ink and take something like this and print it on a t-shirt. I'll show you a shirt later that has a print on it. And you could use whatever image you wanted. I mean, if you wanted to put Black Lives Matter on something like this and print it on a t-shirt, you could get it to work, but everything has to be backwards, so that if you're writing that out, it has to be like, it's like the secret code of printmakers, right? Writing backwards. So when you cut this and you print it, it'll be the right way around. This is just a little line drawing. You can use anything. Doesn't matter. You know, work from a photo, whatever you want to work from. That's it for that. I'll print these things in a little bit and show you what they look like. The first print is going to be really light, but you want that. You're going to build up a little bit of ink on this. It's going to resist a little bit when you put the ink on, so that the first print will be light. You don't want to over ink it, because then you fill up all the beautiful cutting that you've done, like stuff like this. You don't want that getting filled. If it gets filled up, you can go wash it in the sink, a little soap and water. This will work really, really well. Dry it out real good. If you got a hair dryer, that's excellent, because it gets it super dry. That's it for now. We'll print in a little bit.